Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Link Enterprises YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be covering the installation of Bizmanager version 16 on a Windows 10 machine. So, to begin with, we need to install Microsoft SQL Server. In my case, I installed Microsoft SQL Server 2022 Developer Edition and Microsoft SQL Server Tools version 21. So these, I'm not going to go over the installation of these, but they need to be installed. Also, we need to install Java and the installation guide. And the installation guide, Microsoft OpenText request for the Java version to be version 8. So we installed the Java JDK version 8, and so that's one of the prerequisites. Sorry, I didn't have it open. Anyway, somewhere in here, right here, JDK 8. So I'm sure it does work with other versions, but I didn't want to mess around with that. But again, this is an older version 16, and they recommend version 8, so I kept it on version 8. I didn't want to be playing around with that. So to start the installation, first we're gonna start by creating a new user on the Microsoft SQL Server. In the configuration manager, we wanna make sure that you go into the SQL. And the protocols of the SQL network configuration and TCP/IP is enabled. And in the SQL services, we want to make sure that the agent and the SQL server is running. This is stopped, so I'm going to start it. Let me see if I can set it to automatic, to do manual, automatic. And then I'm gonna start. Apply. Okay. And here it is. These two are automatic. So whenever you reboot the machine, they will start automatic. So again, you want the SQL server and the agent to be running in the background. And then now we're gonna go and create a new user for Microsoft SQL 2022. We use the Server Management Studio. I'm running version 21, but you can run 19 or 20 or whatever you have, as long as it's able to connect to the database. And early, I tried to create a user, but was having an issue. So right now I'm gonna connect as the local user with Windows authentication. As you can see on the databases, I don't have any database created yet, but I'm going to create the database in a minute after I create the user. Then I'm gonna go into securities, login. I'm gonna right click on login. I'm gonna say new login, and I'm gonna create a user. Let's call him OpenText. Let's say OT root. And I'm gonna say SQL authentication. And I'm gonna give it this password right here. This is just on my sandbox, and then I'm gonna wipe it all out after I'm done. Okay, I'm not gonna enforce password expiration or password policies. Okay, this is just for me to test. I'm gonna give this user status or enable to log in, grant, and user mapping server roles. Let's say I'm gonna make a sysadmin for now. Okay, then we need to right click on the database, and this is something I was having an issue with, but you gotta right click on the server and then go to properties, and then here you're going to go to permissions, I think it is. No, security, and you're going to select SQL Server and Windows Authentication Mode. If you don't activate the SQL Server, you'll have issues logging in. So we activate that, we hit OK, say OK. It tells me that I need to restart in order to activate. Okay, so let me disconnect. I need to restart, so I can come here, I can stop this guy, say yes. I don't know if I need to restart the agent, but I'm gonna restart it just in case. I'm gonna stop the agent. I'm gonna start the server again. And I'm going to, let me restart this guy. Okay, now it's run, both of them are running. It should be able to log in now. This is the database. Windows authentication, no SQL Server, OT root. And then I'm gonna put the password and I'm gonna say remember, and I'm gonna trust the server. I think, there we go. So now I'm able to log in. I'm gonna go into the database, I'm gonna say new database, and I'm gonna tell it to create database name. I'm gonna call it BizLink DB, and for the owner, I'm going to select browse OT root. Okay. No, remove. Okay. Okay, and then now I'm going to create another database, and this one's going to call the same thing, but I'm going to put underscore arc for archive. And the owner, again, is going to be OT root. Okay. And OK. So now we have a BizLink DB and a BizLink DB arc underscore arc. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to go to the command line, running the command prompt, and I know that I have the software somewhere here. BizLink 16 Windows. So I'm going to go CD to this path, and I'm going to execute the batch installer. So if everything goes well, if you install the Java JDK 8 or any Java JDK that is compatible with this, and you have everything in place, it should give you the installation GUI. There we go, it's calling, okay, so you get this GUI. Now we go next and next. Okay, we're gonna do a fresh installation. Next, standard installation. The difference between standard installation and the custom installation is if you want to do multiple servers, like if you want to separate the web UI from the transformation server, from the SFTP and the communication server, and so on and so forth. But in this case, we're just going to run everything in one machine. So we're going to do standard. We hit next. Validate port and validate database connection. Yes. Okay, we're using Microsoft SQL Server. Notice that you can use Oracle, IBM DB2, and MySQL. Later on, I'm going to do a MySQL test to see how complicated that is. And here we have the server name, the ports, the database name, which says, nope, that's not it. It says biz link db. The username is OT-root, and the password is this. Again, this is just my sandbox. I'm going to wipe it out after I'm done. Confirm database password. We put it again. Next. Okay, now notice that it changed. Before it was the regular database. Now this is the archive, BizLink archive database information. So the only difference is the underscore arc, and then same user, OT root, and then the password and the password. Next. Where do we want to install it? I'm going to leave it to C BizLink. Hit next. And it's going to be the configuration server. It's going to be 8080 54010. Sure. Next. It's going to go through all the components. So here's the message server. So Bizmanager has several components: the configuration, the message server, the file transformation, and you'll see them all. But these are the components for each. So if you have a distributed environment, here's where you can say where it goes. Here's the message server, the inbound listener, system monitor, and it's verifying that these ports are not taken. So if your machine, you're running something and there's one of these ports that is taken, then it'll give you an error. And then you will have to either change the port here or change the port or whatever you're using. Transformation, all these are services. Okay, and then this is where the data store is located. Choose the data root folder that will serve as a repository for all file processed by BizLink. So this is where your data is going to be stored. So if you have like a NAS device or a drive that is mounted, that it has where you can add storage as needed, or you can have a Samba location where you mount the drive and is again a NAS device, or even a cloud AWS bucket or something. This is where you would call it and tell it where to go. You can go choose folder and find it in your, but again, it needs to be within the network or map on your server. Next. Okay, so we're gonna create a username. This is the system administration account, and I'm gonna use that. And then the password. I'm going to copy this guy. do next. And this is if you're gonna have the server send messages via SMTP, you can say from the email to what email ID and set up your SMTP. I'm really not gonna do that right now. I do plan to do that in the future, but I'm not gonna do that in this video. Just, you know, this is a regular SMTP configuration, so you need the host name, the username and password, and the SSL, whatever you're gonna use, and you can say no reply at your company name or whatever you want to use. It asked me, please enter an email ID. Okay, so let's say no reply at bluelinkenterprises.net. I don't know if I need to enter another. 2. Okay, sure. He wants me to do that. That's funny, I don't remember. Okay. Choose to start deployment option or save the Bizlink config file. Okay, I'm gonna save this. What this does, it creates an XML file that you can later pick up from the from this folder, and it's basically the configuration of all your settings. To be honest, my email host and all that is just something I put in, but it's not real, so I don't know if it's gonna verify that or not. But okay, save. So now I'm gonna start deployment, and here we go. Install. It's pretty straightforward once if you've done the database user and the Java. If the Java, you install it correctly. There we go. So now it's done. So technically, we should be able to do it's not gonna work because the service needs to be started. But if we go to C Bizlink, here is the installation location and the bin. Okay, so you can start it from here, or you can go to the services and start it in the services. I'm gonna show you this because this is each one of these are the components of Bizmanager. All right, and there's an order. You're supposed to start with the config first. Important that you run it as an administrator. See, so make this program a Windows service. Yes, we want to make it a Windows service. Okay, so it was successfully installed. I could say run. Okay, I'm gonna say yes, a private network, so I'm gonna allow it. Service run, do you want to stop it? No. Okay, maybe I need to do it from the service. Yes. So let's go here. Let's go to the services, this guy. Okay, so it hasn't installed it in the service. Install this one because I told it to install it. So let me go and run everybody. So I did the config. It doesn't matter how you install it, but just so you know that there's an order. So you want to do config, and then you want to do message server. Then server. So this installation doesn't matter the order really, but when you run them in the services, it does matter. There's some, the config and the server need to be running first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're gonna start the config. Let's do properties. Automatic should be automatic. I'm gonna let it run a local system account. In a production environment, you want to create, and I probably, when I do the sandbox again, after I wipe this all out and start it again, I'm going to create a new user, and that user is going to own this application, and is also going to own the rights, the read and write access to the folders that Bizmanager will have access to. That's important because when you're running it, if you are doing a transformation or picking up a file, you may run into errors and you don't know why, and it's because the user that owns Bizmanager in Windows may not have the necessary permissions to execute or to copy or to move or to write a file. So that's why you want to make sure that whatever username is running these files, these servers, these components, is the same user that has permission to permission to do have access to those folders. Okay, the next one is monitor. Next one is message server. Okay, monitor is running. Configuration, monitor. Let me see if it's a permission issue. Let me start it as me. I don't have permissions. I'm being okay. No, okay. I'm gonna have to look to see what is going on with this. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look this up and see what happened. I'm sure it's a configuration issue. We'll be back. Okay, so the issue that we were having, why we couldn't start the message server, is because we didn't have the license in place. And we found that out because if you go to the BizLink directory and you go to the apps folder under logs, each of those services create a log every time you start it. So we were having an issues with the starting of the server. So if we look at it, right. Somewhere in here, maybe it's not this one. Maybe it's this one, the server. Yeah, right here, the license checker. So that failed because we hadn't installed the license. But once we have this in the services, once we have the configuration servers, and the monitor running, I have the inbound listeners listening, but with the monitors running, the monitor and the configuration server, you can now go to the BizLink, the Bizmanager UI and the URL, and you'll be able to log in. Again, you have to utilize the username and password that you created during the installation and say this product is not currently licensed, so you need to put the license in. And notice that here it also says on license. So to install the license, you have to go to server. So server or setup, setup and licenses, and then you click on add, and then you tell it, and let's see, you can do Biz Manager 16, let's say 2025. Then we're going to choose the file, and I put it in the downloads, and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to upload. Oh, didn't like the file name, so let me just go to downloads. Choose file, downloads, and then upload. I still have something in there. Oh, the underscore. Thank you. Okay, so that was it. It didn't like the dash, it gotta be underscore. So I need to shut down. I log out, log back in, and we have system running. So now notice that in the server, it tells you what services are running. So we have the config server running, the inbound listener and the monitor, but the message server and the integrated and the transformation are down. So we're gonna do the message server, start that. Transformation, start that. And the SSH FTP server. So now they're all running, and they should not be, if they're coming down, if they come down, there's an issue. But as you can see, they're all running, no errors. You come back over here, we refresh, continue, server. Now they're all green with the IP addresses. And that is how Bizmanager gets installed. Let me know what questions you have, and I'll try to answer the best way that I can. And hope that you enjoy this video. Like, subscribe, and thank you very much.